College football is back, and we're back live on the Big Mountain.
Welcome back to the Big Mountain. Good to have you back with us. I'm going to let everyone know right off the get-go, we have internet issues, and it's not my Wi-Fi this time. Like, everything about our internet, including our cell phones, everything is just crap right now.
Yeah, uploading up to YouTube.
Yeah, the upload issues. So we're going to keep going, and if you lose us, we're just going to keep going. So hang in there with us. It may disconnect and reconnect, and we'll try to keep it quick so you get all of our picks.
I blame El Nino.
I don't know what I blame. I don't really care. But shout out to JEH. Apparently he's has had a little bit of a rough time. Wife was in the ER, but things are getting better. So we're thinking about you there, JEH. It's good to have you back in the chat. And hope everything's going good with the family. Shout out to Brad, to, what is that, S. Donan? Yeah. Clint, good to have Clint back in here. Haven't seen Clint for a little bit. Las Vegas Larry, Jerry, a lot of people. Say hello in the chat. Make sure we know you're with us. And before we get started, two things, real quick. Mm-hmm. Number one, we got our Dweller beers up top. I added them yesterday. Part of my shelving fell down, but I still have enough. I need to do a better job of my jerry rigging. And we got a card from UC Davis, to which I just found in the box the other day.
Oh,
but nice. I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
So Rocco, the director of athletics, sent us a card. He said we hope we enjoy a little taste of Davis, which we did. It's right there. But he says that UC Davis is home to the only accredited brewmaster program. Ooh. UC Davis knows beer.
Love it.
So shout out again to UC Davis. And we still have another brew. I'm not drinking it tonight yet. We still have another one. It's still chilling. We'll maybe crack that open next week.
Love it. Love it.
Keep it coming. The other thing was, did an NIU update. We'll talk about that here at the end of the episode briefly. And you and I just recorded an episode about the motion to dismiss. So we're not really going to talk about that tonight because we want you to watch our discussion tomorrow.
Yeah. And we also did another G6 rankings.
We did another G6 rankings.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of stuff happening here on the Big Mountain. So without further ado, Surf City Bill is in the house. Moses is in the house. Big Mama is in the house. Made it. Good to have you. All right, Steve. You want to get started?
Yeah, just shout out to Surf City Bill. I think he would be interested to see where we have Boise State. We're in the G6 rankings, so check that one out.
For sure. All right. You have, what do you have? 7 Big Ten and 2 other.
Yeah.
2 ACC.
We ready to roll right into
Let's
some picks?
Let's rock and roll.
Let's roll. Week 6. A lot of big inside conference matchups this week in the Big Ten. Only one out of conference matchup. So let's get right off the bat. Let's go with Wisconsin traveling to Michigan, to Ann Arbor, to the Big House. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin has continued to look poor this season as we kind of expected, and Michigan, they've just been rolling right along, doing, some weeks they use the ground and pound, some weeks they unleash Bryce Underwood and let him go. I think so. The line is 16.5.
Yeah.
I like Michigan to cover this, and I'm taking Michigan minus 16.5, and I'm coming right out the gate and making this a Big Mountain ice cold lock. Wisconsin, like I said, they've just continued to play poorly all season. They've had injuries at the quarterback position. Their offense just can't get going. The last time they played, I picked against Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. They were 10.5 point favorites, and I said, I don't even think they can score more than 10.5 points.
Right. Which they didn't.
No.
Yeah.
That was, I think, to Maryland, if I remember correctly. So, and honestly, Michigan, I don't know that they're going to be a CFP team this year. Maybe. They still have a chance for that.
Right.
But they're rolling along pretty well. Their run game looks pretty good. Their defense looks pretty good. They did have that close loss to Oklahoma on the road. But they've basically put everyone else away. And I honestly like them by about 3 touchdowns, which is why I made this a Big Mountain ice cold lock. I definitely think that they win. I think they win 20 to 25 points, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Any comments on that?
Well, Michigan's playing pretty good ball, and they absolutely have a significant chance at the CFP, as do a plethora of Big Ten teams. And Wisconsin's just, they're not good. Yeah. But I got one thing to say before you go to your next pick. Day of One Rob is here, and I got to give him the salute. This is his salute.
All right. I see the fist.
Yeah, he's an SDSU guy.
Okay.
He always puts the muscle.
Okay.
So I'll be picking that game in a little bit.
Yeah, and they've had some good wins this year, SDSU. They're a little up and down, but not
Well,
bad.
I'm picking them.
Yeah, okay.
Probably, honestly, they're the hardest team for me to pick right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll find out what I do here in a little while.
Okay, so moving right along, a hard team for me to pick this right now is Illinois.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, they got absolutely curb stomped by Indiana. And then they come in this week and upset Jada Maeva-led USC team. So this week they're playing at Purdue. They're a 9.5-point favorite. I'm going to look at the Indiana thing as kind of an anomaly where they played a team that was just better than them, that was just hitting on all cylinders.
Right.
But you take it outside of that game, Illinois has had a very good season, played really well. The line is 9.5. I think Illinois, at least, I like them to win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Illinois to cover 9.5 points, and I'm making it another Big Mountain ice cold lock. I love the way that Altmaier and the offense played last week. They were supposed to be, they were down 5 of their top 6 defensive backs going into that game. And Maeva he threw it around. He had some good yards, but the team held up. They held their own and played good, solid game on offense, played just good enough on defense. And USC, I think, is a lot better than this Purdue team, a lot more dangerous. So, again, that's why I'm taking Illinois to cover the 9.5 points and why I made it a Big Mountain Ice Cold lock.
Well, if you take out the Indiana game, which is hard to do because they got freaking trounced.
Yes.
But if you take that out, they're the team you thought they were going to be. I mean, and so is it, it's for you picking them. It's like, do I set that aside and like almost ignore it because that wasn't them?
Right.
And just keep moving forward like I think this team is.
Yep.
Or do I have to like recategorize everything and go, oh crap? And it kind of sounds like, and I think that the wise move is they're the team you think they are. They just had a really, really bad week.
Yes.
Right? Or bad game.
One bad week
So
coincided with a team that had a perfect week.
Yes, right.
Perfect game.
And you saw that Illinois versus USC. I mean, that really good game, and they should take care of business here by at least 10 points. You would think. Okay, 2 locks out of the gates.
Right
Steve.
out of the
love
gate.
it.
There'll be one more a little bit later, but not quite yet
Okey-dokey.
here. Okay, so Washington is coming all the way across the country. They're playing at Maryland. The line is 6.5. I'm going to go ahead and take Washington to cover the 6.5. I'm not locking this because we have seen since the West Coast teams have come to the Big Ten,
Yes.
they've struggled when they're traveling across the country.
Yep.
I think that Washington wins, and I like them by about a touchdown or so, but I'm definitely not going to lock it. I think it's a little bit too volatile with a team, traveling across the country, just because, every now and then we'll see that. So, but I am picking Washington, picking the Huskies by 6.5.
You're my friend, and I'm not going to take a jab at you right now.
Okay.
Yes, there's something in my brain, and I shan't do it because the wound is still fresh.
I'm guessing you're talking about Oregon coming across the country. Yes, which
I didn't bring it up.
No,
I'm kidding. I brought it up.
Yeah. But there has been other instances,
100%.
especially last
It's
year.
happened. I totally agree with you. It happens so far. It has happened more times than not that they really kind of struggle with that. So okay.
Okay, so I'm not locking that one for that reason.
Understood.
To travel across
It's a
the country.
smart reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the line against the two teams, but I totally get the reason why you would not want to lock it. Yeah.
Okay. University of Louisiana Monroe traveling to Northwestern. I really struggled with this one, but I do think, Northwestern has actually played a little better than I expected this year. They gave Oregon some trouble.
Yeah.
Besides Penn State, they're the ones that kind of held Oregon down the most. Other than those 2 games, Oregon's been winning every game by like 50 points or whatever.
Right.
So I liked how they performed there. And, Louisiana Monroe, they're just not a good team.
No.
So I am taking Northwestern to cover the 10.5 points. It's a little scary because I feel like Northwestern will definitely win this game, but do they win by double digits?
Yeah.
It's right there at 10.5. So I'm going to take it. Definitely not locking it, just because I could see this being like, like a 17-7 kind of game or whatever.
Yeah.
Which would be right there at 10. So
yeah. It's the right pick. I think. I mean,
Not sure I'm
they
gonna
may
bet
not
this
cover it, but yeah. To me, with UL Monroe being what they are, that's the right pick. I agree with you.
Okay, so the next pick, we have Penn State traveling across the country at UCLA, which has been a complete dumpster fire. They fire their head coach. Then this week, it came out either Tuesday or Wednesday, firing their offensive coordinator, bringing in a new play caller. I think his name's it's Jerry Neuheisel, who is the son of a longtime coach Rick Neuheisel. He was a Colorado coach, I think, years ago, and maybe Washington as well, and he's on TV on CBS. He's going to be the new play caller, a really young guy. I think he was just a player a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But Penn State's traveling across the country. The line is 24.5. It's a little big, but again, UCLA just kind of a dumpster fire, and we have not seen as much for whatever reason. The East Coast traveling west, we haven't really seen that big change, disparity. I don't know if it's the time clock, whatever, with west going east. So I'm picking Penn State to cover the 24.5. Definitely not locking it. I think Penn State will win this game and win it easily, but it could be one of those games where they just kind of run the ball with another slow start in offense or whatever.
Right.
So I'm picking it, but I'm not locking it. I don't know that I will even bet this game, but I am picking Penn State to cover the 24.5 because they should be able to beat UCLA by that many points in the condition they're in.
I agree. UCLA is in shambles, and but at the same time they're bringing in new coaches. That could light a fire under them where all of a sudden they play really good. They do have a talented quarterback. At least I think he's talented. I don't think they've given him a lot of protection, a lot of good play calls and everything like that. But so you never know when, they might get lightning in a bottle. But for sure, that team's in shambles.
Yep. So, okay, next game, game number 6 for me, Michigan State traveling to Nebraska, okay? The line is 10.5. Nebraska's 10.5 point favorite. I think Nebraska wins this game. Definitely think they win this game. However, I'm going to take Michigan State plus the 10.5 because I think this could be one of those kind of drag down fights, maybe not a ton of scoring. And I do think Michigan State, they've been scrappy this year. They've played well. I think they've performed a little bit better. I was high on Nebraska coming into the season. I'm still high on Nebraska. But I think Michigan State, I think they'll keep this game low scoring enough, and maybe Michigan State score enough points.
Right.
I think that they'll stay within that 10.5 point margin. If this was like a 7.5, 8.5, I might have picked Nebraska. But I'm taking Michigan State plus the points, plus the 10.5 points, because I think they keep this to single digits. But I do think Nebraska will win the game.
Okay. All right. That one's interesting. I'm actually surprised that the line's maybe not a little bit bigger. But you're the Big Ten guy. I don't know. I guess Nebraska, you kind of thought this was it Rule's third season? They're going to really go for it, and they kind of look the same as they've looked for the past 2 years, right?
No, I think they look a little better. I mean, they had that one loss to Michigan, Michigan just came in and out physicaled them. I mean, it was just offensive line, defensive line. Other than that, they've looked pretty solid. But Michigan State has played a little bit better, I think, than people expected. And so that's why I think it's gonna stay under those 10 points.
All right. Well, before you get to your last Big Ten pick, Carter says that Sparty's gonna roll Nebraska, and let's see. Brady says you should lock Washington, but Steve gave an excellent reason why he's not locking Washington, and it's that travel issue, west to east. And I understand the hesitation on that. I also understand people liking the line in that game.
Absolutely.
So I see both sides of that. And I want to give a big shout out to Michael. He has always loved our pick episodes. West Coast guy. Mm-hmm. He's been with us since we started this, which we started the channel for doing this. And he's able to make a live episode, so it's great to have him here. He says he never misses a picks episode, but of course has to kind of catch it after the fact. And enjoys our pick shows. So Michael, great to have you with us on a live episode. Appreciate you. I know you were one of our original dwellers way back when we started this a whopping 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
All right, Steve, let's go to the last Big Ten game.
So was it
what did I miss?
Soden or Estonen says if anyone can find a way to lose, it's Nebraska. Glad I didn't lock it then. And Brady says we should lock Michigan. I think or Washington. I think on a neutral field and playing at like 8:00 at night in, let's say, in Indianapolis for a Big Ten championship game. I think Washington. I would pick Washington by 2 touchdowns.
Right. I was just saying.
It's that going across the country to Maryland that does that.
Okay.
All right. Next game. Minnesota at Ohio State, not Hawaii State. Minnesota.
Is there an Hawaii State?
I don't think
I don't think there is either. That's interesting. Okay.
Mini at Ohio State in Columbus, in the shoe, playing the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are 23.5-point favorites. And, I was very positive on Mini coming into this year. I didn't think they'd get a CFP spot, but just, they'd have a respectable season. And I still, even with that loss, they went out to Cal.
Yeah.
Went out to Cal Berkeley and lost out there. I still think they have a good chance at a respectable season, but this is not going to be the week that shows up. Ohio State's 23.5-point favorites. They just went across the country to Seattle and beat the Huskies. They scored towards the end to run up the score a little bit.
Right.
But just Ohio State's got it put together. I thought there would be a settling in period for Julian Sand, their quarterback, and he wasn't exactly lighting up the charts, in some of the early games. But that team is so good; they just have so much talent. They can score in any way. So I'm going with Ohio State to cover the 23.5, and I'm making it a Big Mountain ice cold lock.
Wow.
I think, like I said, I think Ohio State is rolling right now. They're hosting Minnesota. They just had that trip across the country where they were able to flex their muscle here.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be able to flex their muscle even more against a mini team that I don't think is nearly as good as Washington.
Sure.
And this time, Ohio State's playing at home. So I'm taking Ohio State to lock that, or to win by 23.5, and I locked it.
Well, it's interesting because we talked quite a bit last week about that Washington-Ohio State game. Some of our dwellers in the chat, in the cellar, commented just like how few teams have beaten Washington in Washington by 10 or more points.
Yes.
I had commented, I got them at 10.5. I was feeling really good. I think the game ended at 8.5, something like that.
Yeah.
And man, Ohio State really took it to them in Washington. So that speaks volumes for how this team's playing right now. Washington being a good team, and they should easily take care of business against Minnesota, or as you call them, Mini.
Yeah, of course.
Brad disagreed with you though. He says that that he's going to be taking the points with Minnesota. I guess he likes that many points.
Yeah, I mean 23.5 is a good number of points, but again, just Ohio State. That Washington game was close for a long time. I mean, really until I think the last 6 minutes of the game.
Okay.
And by that point, Ohio State just flexed their muscle, and they can do that. They have so much talent on defense, so much talent on offense, and they can score in points in a hurry. So we'll see.
Okay.
But I feel very confident. I think they win this by 30 points.
Well, I'm hoping you have a better Big Ten week with your picks. I didn't show our stats. I forgot to do that slide this week. It wasn't. I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
I almost didn't even get the damn slides up for our producer to put up here. I had made him do some work on them because I didn't have enough freaking time. But I'll get the stats back up next week. Because we like to keep it on.
Transparent.
We're transparent. We're honest. We eat crow when we need to. And I actually, you know what I'm going to say, Steve?
What's that?
I'm going to guarantee you're going to have a better week than last week. I'm going to guarantee it.
I like that guarantee.
All right.
Well, Carter Wilkinson, under Brad's comment, says Jeremiah Smith, this is his Heisman game coming up. So,
what's that mean? He's going to go off?
Yeah, probably.
Let's go. Go off the rails, baby. And maybe he wins it by 24 by himself.
250 yards and 3 touchdowns, maybe.
No. He needs more than 3.
Oh, okay.
He needs 4.
Okay, 4. They go for 2 each time.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, all right. Good point. Good point. To him.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions.
Right,
Good to go.
Okay.
All right, you got 2 more games, the FSU game and the Clemson game.
Yeah, so let me tell you, these are 2 really, really hard games to pick for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Clemson has been terrible, and I was going on just picking against them. I was planning on just picking against them the rest of the season, the opposite of what I did with Florida State last year, just until Clemson starts playing well.
I understand.
But now they're going to Chapel Hill, playing at North Carolina. This Bill Belichick team that's supposed to be the 33rd NFL franchise or whatever has looked like a combination of the worst seasons of the Jets and the Browns and the Lions back in the day, and maybe the Saints or the old Aints where they wore the paper bags over their head.
That's right.
Because they've just been awful. They're just terrible this year. But Clemson, they haven't been able to get their offense going. Their running game has been terrible, which I think really leads into bad quarterback play. When your running game, it's first down you get -1 yards, second down you got -3 yards, or maybe you get a couple yards in there, and then every third down your quarterback's having to throw for a first down on 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11. Their offense has just been poor, and their defense really hasn't been that much better. I think this is a low-scoring game, some kind of instead of a knife fight, this is going to be a rock fight. I'm going to take UNC plus the 15.5. Even though UNC has been terrible, it's at home. I'm going with my pattern that I thought I should go with, and just picking against Clemson.
Right.
I think Clemson wins the game, but somehow UNC keeps it within 15.5 points. So I'm taking UNC plus the points at home. It's hard, right?
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I'll say I did watch some of the Clemson Georgia Tech game. And I know that was home for Clemson.
Yeah.
But they were getting going.
They were.
And I also know UNC sucks really bad.
Yes.
And so I totally I mean, if I had to pick this game, I don't know, but I just feel like Clemson has so much more upside. At least they should.
They should.
I think I would have taken Clemson, but it's 15.5 points, and you got Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I get it. I wouldn't want to pick this, and I'm glad I don't have to.
Yeah, I almost didn't pick it, but I've been picking all the Clemson, Florida State. I didn't want to be a coward and run away, so I'm taking it. But I hate picking this game. Okay. Now, my ninth game this week is Miami at Florida State, playing at Doak Walker Stadium.
Yes.
We saw Florida State upset Alabama early in the season. Great atmosphere there. I think there'll be a fantastic atmosphere again.
Okay.
I think this game is going to be really close. The line is Miami by 4.5. I was surprised. I really thought this would be Miami like 8.5, 9.5.
Yeah.
So I was hoping. But when I saw this line that it was only 4.5, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty great.
Yeah.
So I hate to pick against the Noles. So if any of our Noles fans are watching,
this is about winning money. This isn't about
exactly.
So enough of that.
I'm taking Miami to cover the 4.5.
Yeah.
I just think even though I do anticipate really good atmosphere in Tallahassee, I think it'll be great. And they already did upset Alabama. This just really feels like Miami's year. Like they've had some tests. They've come through every time. They beat Notre Dame, and. Yes, they're in Tallahassee, but they're still in the state of Florida. Like they hardly even leave the state of Florida.
Yes,
they're used to kind of the weather, the humidity, whatever. So I'm taking Miami to cover the point spread of 4.5.
Okay.
I don't love picking this game. I do think it'd be really close.
Yeah.
And there's a chance that Florida State could win.
Yeah.
But I think the more likely scenario is Miami wins by about a touchdown.
Okay.
7 to 10 points. And again, that's where I thought the line would be. It was going to be like 7.5, 8.5, 9.5.
Yep. It's a little bit easier pick for you than you thought it might be.
Yeah.
I agree with you. That would have been my pick on this one. So while I guess I disagreed on the Clemson pick, I definitely don't disagree on this at all. Miami's a fantastic team, and Florida State looks good, but I don't think they beat Miami, and I don't think they cover a 4.5 point spread either. So anyway,
and a reminder, I did take the first game of the year against Alabama. I did take Florida State plus the points,
absolutely,
and that was a winner. I don't know. The 4.5 just is not enough for me. I think that line was like 17.5 points or something crazy.
Yeah. So I did want to go back up. JEH mentioned that Oregon State has a fermentation science course for beer brewing. So that's in comment to my UC Davis accredited brewmaster program that they have out there in Davis.
Well, Penn State within their College of Agriculture, they also have a, it's not called a brewmaster, it's just a beer brewing program. I don't know if it's an actual degree or if it's part of another degree, but it's awesome. You go in there, it's this huge old building, and you see all the big, the brewery. I don't even know what you call those things, but the huge tanks.
It's a tank.
Yeah, tank. Yeah, okay. There's a special name for beer tanks.
There is, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's a fermenter.
Yeah, so
something pretty
amazing, and honestly, I think it's really smart the schools are going in that direction because that is a huge industry. I mean, you see, our Dweller brews. Look at the craft brewing industry has exploded across the country.
Yes.
Used to be there was 7 or 8 companies and everybody drank that beer, and it was made in St. Louis or Rocky Mountain, wherever,
or Rocky Mountains or Milwaukee.
Yeah, or Milwaukee. Yeah. But now, I mean, this is a massive, massive industry, and so I think it's really cool that schools are moving forward with that.
So a couple quick comments, and we'll get to the Mountain West. Brad says Clemson dumpster fire versus UNC dumpster fire, 13 to 10 UNC. So he agrees with your pick.
Yeah.
Big Mama thinks that the Clemson, our resident Clemson fan thinks that the bye week's going to get them time to regroup and come out and beat Bill Belichick
Yeah,
and
honestly,
cover the spread.
I don't know about the covering spread part. That's the thing. 15 and a half. I mean, I could really see this game going like 13-3, like Clemson winning.
Well, that's kind of where, 13 to 10, 13 to 9. Okay, Easy Miami says rumbling.
Oh, yeah.
The U by 21 says Brad. Take the under says El Duque. And new to this, depends on FSU's defense. All right, let's get to the Mountain West, Steve-O. I've got 2 Friday games, and I'm anxious for both of them.
Yes.
So I've got New Mexico traveling to San Jose State, a really big game, actually. Because, San Jose State's coming in at 1-3. That's all out of conference. The new season starts here, this week. Kind of last week a little bit, this week, weeks 5 and 6. But New Mexico coming in, looking pretty good. The line here is only 2.5. I'm actually going to take New Mexico and the Lobos plus 2.5 in this game, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't trust San Jose State's run defense. And UNM has 3 backs that they can use. They use them all, and they're all different. Humphreys, the straight ahead beast, just go right down the gut, split the A gap, and boom. Run over a linebacker and gain 10 yards. Bankston, he's the more finesse guy. He'll catch passes. He kind of likes to kind of get out in space a little bit more. And I'm drawing a blank on the third guy. I apologize. But they all do things differently, and they use them that way. And Lane is just, he controls the game. He controls the ball. He's not flashy. He's not one of the best quarterbacks in the Mountain West, but he controls the game. And UNM's defense has been much better than I ever anticipated they would be. Jackson Eck there, coach's son, really, really good linebacker, is really just kind of controls the defense and keeps them in sync and everything. And I love the San Jose State pass game. Freaking phenomenal. Scudero is awesome. Eget's got his game going. Their running game is questionable. Their run defense is questionable. I just have too many questions on San Jose State, and New Mexico's got things going right now. So, I'm taking the Lobos here. Maybe a surprise to some people, but I have too many questions on the Spartans.
Yeah, well, if you watch our G6 rankings episode that should be coming out here soon, you'll see where we had the Lobos. And
that's right.
I don't think you're going to see San Jose on there. So does not surprise me of how you picked this. This feels like a game to me. It's a big game, but for each team, opposite reasons. Like San Jose State, they absolutely have to win this game, in my opinion, to get into this Mountain West Conference race. They had, such a poor out-of-conference results.
Yeah. They got to get back in the conversation.
Yes. Where New Mexico, I mean, this could be, like, if they get this win, it would be huge for them. They've already played really good. They've already gotten some really good, solid wins.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a feather in their cap that could really propel them to being possibly the favorite to get into that Mountain West Championship game. So,
a lot of chatter here, people liking UNM. Brady likes it so much, he says it's a lock. I don't like it that much.
Yeah.
But I totally get where people are coming from. A lot of love coming for UNM here in this one. So let's go to the other Friday night game. This is Colorado State traveling to San Diego State University.
Okay.
I had to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because that's Rob.
Yeah.
Day one Rob.
Day one.
I couldn't think of it. Day one Rob. And so here the line is 5.5. CSU struggling to score points.
Yeah.
San Diego State, a team I just can't freaking figure out.
Yep.
But I know one thing about San Diego State. They have a damn good defense. And they've had a damn good defense for quite a while. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think. Because actually CSU has a pretty good defense here, too. But I think San Diego State at home has enough offense to cover the spread of 5.5 points. The team that I don't think I've gotten right yet this year, San Diego State. I'm going to pick them minus 5.5. That's not right. I picked them to cover NIU, and they covered.
Oh, yeah.
I picked them minus 2.5. They won by 3.
Yeah.
They really squeaked it out there with that 6-3 win. Yeah. But anyway, they still covered. And so I'm still going to take San Diego State minus 5.5. I just have more trust in this. Colorado State fans thought they made that QB change, Brousseau. They thought he was going to come in based on, 2 drives against Wazoo. they get yards, but man, they get into the other team's side of the field, and they just stall. They got 3 points, for crying out loud. I talked about that on the recap episode. Their poor field goal kicker, he's like 2 for 5, but he's kicking everything's over 40 yards. I mean, they can't get anywhere close to the red zone, and SDSU's defense ain't going to help them in that regard here. So I'm going to take the Aztecs. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lock this because I can't figure this damn team out. But San Diego State should win this pretty easily, in my opinion. I think the Aztecs roll here pretty good, as long as Denegal doesn't turn the ball over. And, hell, to be honest with you, the defense might score enough points to win this and cover the game. I'm not even kidding. That's where I'm at with it.
The thing with San Diego State for me, like you said, they're such a hard team to figure out. They're kind of the Jekyll and Hyde team this year. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see them lose like 6-3, but the other way this time, or beat Colorado State by almost 30 points. Both of those scenarios could happen, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, well, that's San Diego State. So that makes them really hard to pick.
It is, yeah. And I see a lot of people talking about the under, and I appreciate that. I was gonna pick it. No, I'm not gonna pick it. I am gonna pick it, but I'm picking the Colorado State under, not the game under. I'm taking Colorado State under 16.5. I don't think they score more than probably, if they can get a touchdown, good on them. But I don't see them scoring 2 touchdowns. So I was thinking game under, but you saw what San Diego State did at home there for a couple games and things. So they do have some offensive upside. So instead of taking the game under, I'm going to really, really crap on Colorado State. Watch them show up and blow San Diego State out. But I'm just riding the garbage bus, as somebody in the chat was asking for it, and I delivered.
This might be one of those interesting things, and I can't remember if I talked about it on a show, but a couple weeks back, I felt pretty good Sam Houston State was going to get blanked, was going to get totally shut out. So I parlayed their first half under with the total game under for Sam Houston State and won that parlay. It was fantastic. So this could be an opportunity for someone to do the same. If you want to take the under on CSU and you like these defenses and think it's going to be a slug out fest, you could parlay potentially, depending on what state you're in and the rules. But I know FanDuel lets you do those same game parlays. Right. You could potentially parlay the under CSU under 16.5 with a game under, and make a nice little parlay. But we'll see.
JEH
Aztec slow.
Aztec slow. Oh, there it is. JEH never disappoints.
I did read an update for this year, and their tempo and their snap counts and time, that they are running faster this year than last year. But it is still a funny thing, especially after last year, how bad they were and slow they were.
Yep. All right. Well, let's keep moving on here. A game that you and I are going to be at. And Steve, we do all of this college football talk, and you go to games and I've gone to games. I couldn't tell you the last time we went. Well, we went to that Penn State game, 10 years ago?
2016, November 2016, final game of the year. Penn State sealed the win and their entrance into the Big Ten championship game.
Right.
And I was screaming my head off, and you were looking at me like I was a crazy person.
Nah, well, maybe that'll happen in 3 days, too.
Yeah.
We're going to the Air Force at Navy in Annapolis. It's going to be fantastic. Noon kickoff here on the East Coast. So fortunate. We got media credentials, the two of us. We're going to be doing live. The plan is to do some live pregame, some live halftime. So you guys on the West Coast, get up, get your Danish or whatever, your waffles, and get your coffee, 9 a.m., sit down, and enjoy a pregame. Well, actually, it'll be like 8:30, right, out there. So
Saturday morning football.
Enjoy the pregame with us. Love to have you on our live shows. And I'm anxious for this game.
Yeah. I was in the Navy 22 years, retired Navy chief. I went to, I think, at least 2, maybe 3 Army-Navy games. But I've never been to a game at Annapolis because the Army-Navy games are always at a neutral site.
Yes.
So I'm super, super excited about this to see Navy hosting Air Force. Just fantastic opportunity. I'm glad, you brought this up and said, hey, why don't we go? Yeah. I'm so glad you did because this is an awesome opportunity. I'm really looking forward to it. And like we said, this gives us, we get an in-person look at Air Force. That's not easy to do when you're on the East Coast.
Right.
So we get an in-person look at Air Force.
Yeah.
We have a game between a American Conference and the Mountain West, which gives us another data point in comparison. And we're going to be in at the Naval Academy, Indianapolis.
Yes.
How cool is that? We've both been there a few times. It's a beautiful place.
Very cool
And now we
place.
get to go watch college football there.
For sure. And I want to give a quick shout out. Tommy Gunn is in the house, one of our friends from Vegas. Tommy, I will be back in Vegas here in about 3 weeks. And for Las Vegas Larry, and for whoever else. Who else did we meet out there? I'm missing. Who am I missing? Will, but he's not from Vegas.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Morhew from Vegas. I'm going to be out there in a few weeks. I will make sure you guys know. Would love to meet up with you again. I want to maybe catch some sort of sporting event for UNLV. I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they have some stuff. I don't remember what. But anyway, let's get on with our picks.
Well, there was a couple. Surf City Bill says media credentials mean we have to work the concession stand. Well, we've done that before. That wouldn't be the first time, but I don't think they're going to make us do that.
I think we get free cold hot dogs.
Oh, very
maybe
nice.
cold pizza.
Oh, nothing like a cold hot dog.
I love it. Anyway, also shout out to some other. I see Casey's in here. Ben, I didn't say hi to you. Who else did we miss? I said hi to Michael G4. I think at G418. And some others. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. We'd like to say hello to our dwellers that are here. And we go Las Vegas Larry and Tommy Gunn, or we'll hook up again someplace. Look right here, guys. I got a speaking of, I got the beer zombie can here. I brought this back on the plane. That's just because we met them at Beer Zombies.
Yes, that place was awesome. If we go back there again next year, I think we should go to that place again.
Okay.
But I want
Boom! Just Justin. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to say real quick, JEH talks about that Houston Oregon State game where I was surprised I was seeing the score to that the Beavs were winning for a good portion of the game.
Yeah.
But then I didn't see the final score, but apparently
they lost.
They blew that one.
They lost. They're 0-5.
Yeah.
Sorry, JEH. I'm not trying to rub that in. All right, let me make this pick, and then I'll read Mr. Just Justin's wonderful, glorious, always appreciated super chat.
Okay.
All right, so we've got Air Force Navy, and I'm going to actually take the points with Air Force in this. They've shown that they can score points. They showed that they're not real great at stopping people from scoring points. But at 11.5, I'm fine to take the points here. Yeah, maybe they're not able to cover it against Navy. Navy's a really good team. Navy really hasn't played anybody yet. Yeah. They played Rice. I mean, that's a solid team that they played there. But outside of Rice, they really haven't played anybody. And I'm just anxious for the game. I'm anxious to see these two teams. To me, anything over 10 points in a Service Academy game, I'm happy to take. Because historically, these games are lower scoring, although I don't think this one will be. And I don't think it'll be so much that I'm actually going to take the over on Air Force. It's 19.5, so I was a little surprised it was under 20. I think they're able to score some touchdowns in this game. So as much as I crapped on CSU and the under, I'm actually high on Air Force's offense here to score more than 19 points, or 20 plus points and hit that over. So you guys know me. I like to hit some over-unders. So I usually go over. I went under on Colorado State. I don't really like always going under, but at 16.5 for them, I'm like, oh crap, I got to take that. But I really like this 19.5 for Air Force. So, Rams, do you have any comments on that?
I'm glad I don't have to pick this game because it's always hard for me to pick between service academies. Obviously, my heart is with the Navy, but I appreciate all the service academies. So I'm glad I personally didn't have to pick this game. Now, I will say in general, the under in any of these service academy games is like 90%.
Pretty good.
Whatever.
I know.
But this is a different Air Force team than we've seen other years. So I get it why you're going in that direction. And again, I'm just looking forward to going to the game, taking some pictures, being there with my buddy JY, and having a good time.
Absolutely. So Justin says, I think the Wyoming UNLV game will be close. If Wyoming offense shows up early, I could see it a possible win. Q Steve on the super chat. And I like UNLV. This could be a good game for them too. Go Pokes. I'll be picking that game in 2 more games, and you'll hear what I have to say about that. I agree with everything you said, Justin. I think it's going to be a good game. Always an interesting situation when you get a team coming up to Laradice. Mm-hmm. That always can cause some issues for some teams. And I'm just expecting a good game there. And unfortunately, the Air Force Navy game is at noon.
Yeah.
So we would enjoy that game, get something to eat, get home, and most of my other games are later on in the evening. Right. So I'm not going to miss much game because the Air Force game's so early. So it's great for me.
Yeah, no, it works out great. So I feel like everybody is waiting for UNLV to finally have that game where they get knocked off. They had so many close games. And to me, I think UNLV is a better overall team. However, going up to Laradice, I mean, Wyoming, they're a tough team. They have a good defense. Sometimes the offense is not always prolific, we'll say. But, if they do have a little outburst of points, I think they could make this real. Because, again, UNLV's defense has been terrible this year, especially first half of games. So if this is the game that Wyoming's offense could get rolling a little bit, this could be interesting and a possible win, like Justin says. So, just another test for UNLV. It feels like this season is all about UNLV. Just test after test. When are they finally going to get knocked off? Do they make it all the way to the Boise game, or is this the week where their kind of second half magic runs out?
Sure, right. Well, and that's what they've needed, some second half magic. And like you say, in multiple games, massive magic, not a little bit of magic. They need a complete turnaround, and they've gotten it.
Yeah.
Is this $20 going to the special fund as well?
The
drone.
The drone, yes.
I think that's why Justin he put a comment
on the
Q Steve, for the drone fund.
I love it.
So, all right, let's get to I got 3 more games in the Mountain West, then 2 other games. Boise State at Notre Dame. The line here, 20.5. Yes, Notre Dame has lost some games early on. Still a very good team. Boise, I think. I've watched them offensively. Holy cow, they are running on all cylinders. I know they played Appy State. I know they played Air Force, teams that don't have great defenses like Notre Dame has. I get that. But at 20.5, call me a homer here a little bit. I'm going to take the points with Boise here. I think they have enough to keep it within the 20.5 points. I'd really like it at the 3 touchdowns, the 21.5. But I'm still going to take them at 20.5 because this is a big game for them. They're going to show up big time for this. And we'll see what happens. I hope it's not some disgusting score here. I think anything over, honestly, 24 will be a little, I'm going to say it's disappointing, but I'd like to see them within that 21-24 range and getting 20.5. I'm happy to take that many points. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I've followed Notre Dame a bit this season, like I normally do. And it's weird because they're kind of opposite of what they were last year. Last year, they had some offensive struggles other than maybe their quarterback using his legs. This year, they have C.J. Carr, the grandson of the legendary George Carr.
Okay.
That was the Michigan coach. He's been really good for them. He's been an improvement throwing the ball. Their offense has been on fire. They've got Jordan Love, and then there's another running back they have. Those guys have just been peeling off big runs.
Yeah.
Their defense has not been as good as last year. Not nearly as good as last year. They haven't been getting as much pressure on the quarterback. Their secondary and their coverage schemes seem to be really off. So I think Boise actually, even though Boise may not be as good as they were last year,
sure,
I think that they match up better against this year's Notre Dame team than they would have last year's Notre Dame team. I think they might be able to throw the ball around a bit. Maddox Madsen might be able to make some hay throwing the ball, and if so, that would open up some run game stuff. The question for me is, can Boise slow down Notre Dame's offense at all?
Yes.
The Boise defense, we'll see. But even if the Notre Dame's scoring a lot of points, I think it's still a good opportunity for Boise to score a lot of points, kind of keep pace with them maybe till the end.
Right.
And so I really like Boise State getting 20.5.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, I've watched a decent amount of Boise this year, and again, you got to understand who they're playing, but. Man, that running game, I know it's not Ashton Genty, but the 3 guys they got, there is some speed in that running room.
And if I remember correctly, I think Notre Dame has lost at home to a G6 team the last 2 years.
Okay, yes.
Last year in Northern Illinois, and I think the year before Marshall.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. All right, well, maybe this is it. All right, let's go to the next one. UNLV at Wyoming. We have a lot of people in the chat chatting about this game. The line here, 3.5. Close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think. I know the bye week was important for the Pokes. They did lose their left tackle for the season. I mentioned that. It didn't look good. You could tell he was super disappointed because he was hurt early last year. Happened again here in Game 4. So they are on their backup left tackle. But outside of that, they're knock on wood, fairly healthy. Of course, UNLV here is fairly healthy. And it's to me, this game's going to come down to the Wyoming offense. You know, we all seen UNLV's defense. They you kind of scratch your head sometimes about what the heck are these guys doing out there. But they do have big play potential. And, you know, secondary's been able to turn balls over and stuff. So the story of this game for me is going to be the Wyoming offense. Are they going to be able to put up the points to stay with UNLV? Because UNLV is going to get points. I mean, zero question in my mind. UNLV will be scoring points in this game. But I'm going to take the Pokes as the home dog, getting 3.5. I was actually surprised this line is as low as it is. I thought it may be closer to like that 670, like touchdowny type of thing. And I would have been a lot more comfortable with that. But I'm still going to take the home dogs here with the Pokes. And again, it's all going to be reliant on that offense. I think they have found and they realize that Tote Harris, the young running back, is going to be their go-to running back. Of course, we know about Durr. J. Mike's been out for a few games. He's had a bye week. He should be back. So they really should be running on all cylinders here, should the Pokes, as will UNLV. And, you know, I want to get to some comments. So Tommy Gunn, the guy with all the stats here, he's saying that UNLV hasn't won in Laramie since 2003. Very interesting stat right there. Although he says that that's going to change this Saturday.
Very well could.
And then Michael asks if UNLV beats Wyoming handily. Do you think our new coach team has turned the corner? ? I would say I'm not going to say yes or no based on one game. I would need more than just one game to say, yeah, they've turned the corner. They're good to go. And really on the defensive side, like I need to see defensive improvements, that they're not letting up these crazy long gaping hole yards, mistakes. So I would say it's unlikely that I would say that they've turned a corner and they're a different team over 1 week, but they're coming off a bye. So yeah, I guess it's possible.
Yeah. So for me, I think it really depends on like what you're looking at expectations and what you define as the corner. Because to me, I think UNLV already turned the corner. I think as far as reasonable expectations for a first-year new team under a new coach that was basically a team that was all put together. Now, does that mean they're definitely going to win the Mountain West and get into the CFP? No, because that's not my expectations for them. But to me, I think they're already a really, really good team. They have a Power 4 win. I love their offense. I think they have a great combination between Dan Mullen and what's the quarterback's name?
Calandria.
So to me, I think they've already turned the corner. Now, a loss here would be a major kind of setback on winning a Mountain West championship.
Yes.
But for me, overall, what they've done, what they've been able to put together, I see them as already turning the corner. But, again, coming to Laramie, this time of the year, it's starting to, now we're into October. Like, you could get a little weather out there, some wind, some chilly temperatures.
They're starting to get
from
cold.
The desert. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows what could happen out there. But, yeah, and if they were to blow Wyoming out, I think people would look at it a certain way. But, if I expect this to be one where Wyoming's offense maybe can get going against a defense that hasn't quite settled in. And I think UNLV gets the win, but I understand why you would take Wyoming plus the points.
Michael knew I was going to take the Pokes. Tommy Gunn throws out 24-17 UNLV. I like that touchdown spread. I get that. That's right. That's really where I thought Vegas was going to be on this line. A lot of people giving some love for the Pokes. We'll see what happens. All right, last game here in the Mountain West. Nevada traveling to Fresno State. I was surprised by this line, given what these two teams have done to start. Only 13.5. Blew me away it was that low. And I'm taking the Bulldogs minus 13.5 with my only Big Mountain ice cold lock. I have been down on Nevada. I've really watched this team play early on because I wanted to get a good feel for them. I have been almost nothing but disappointed. I hate to say that, but almost nothing but disappointed with Nevada so far. And it's almost the opposite for the Bulldogs. I've tried to watch them as much as I can, and I've been almost nothing but impressed with the Bulldogs And as I said to you 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure Nevada wins another game.
Right.
I mean, I hope they do, but I don't see it on their schedule. And Fresno State's looking like a top 3 or 4 team in the Mountain West right now. I think they handily beat Nevada in the Valley. I'm blown away by this line, which probably means I'm wrong. When I'm that confident in something, Fresno State's going to win by 7 or 10. But I don't see this game being that close. They can't pass the ball. The Wolfpack cannot pass the ball. They're interception city, and this is an easy lock for me, Steve. Which probably means, like I said, I'm going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like everything you're saying here. Nevada has been one of the most disappointing teams in the Mountain West of what we thought they could do. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I know I think you had Fresno winning 7 games.
Yes, I think it was 7. Yep, 7 to 5.
For me, the way they've played and the positive momentum they have going, I think they're one of the pleasant surprises in the Mountain West this year. So it feels like teams kind of going in opposite directions, and it's going to be at home in the Valley, like you said. So I would say at least 2. I can see why you didn't lock it if you have some trepidation. I did
lock it.
Oh, you did lock it. Okay.
Yeah, right. I went for it. It's my only lock.
You went for it.
I didn't yell it out though.
But yeah, I mean, I like Fresno by 2 touchdowns at least, maybe 3. Somewhere in that range. So
yeah. A lot of people are agreeing with me. Tommy Gunn with the prediction, 44-13. I'll be dead up on us. I think, again, that's a pretty damn good prediction. And that's 31 points.
I want to go back just quickly to the Wyoming UNLV, and there's some talk.
Okay.
You were surprised.
You want to scroll up a little bit?
Well, maybe a little, but
okay.
There was some talk about what the line was. You were saying you were surprised in that game.
Yeah.
And Tommy gave his prediction.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think this is a case where, generally home field advantage is worth 2.5 points. Sometimes 3.
Right.
Vegas handicaps it that way.
Right.
However, I think in this case, there's certain teams. I think Penn State, especially in a whiteout or whatever, Vegas swings it a little bit more towards them.
Sure.
I think Wyoming is getting some extra points because of more of a potential home field advantage in Laramie. Going there, the altitude, the potential weather, they always have a great crowd, all of those different factors.
Yeah.
I think that they're getting some extra points because of that. Whereas the line might have been, 5, 6, 5.5, 6.5 if it was a neutral site instead of Laramie.
Yep. Michael, Fia, Rumbling, good to have you guys with us again, guys and girls and whoever's you are. Okay, last 2, I'll bust through these real quick. I've got Oregon State at Appalachian State. The line here, basically a pick 'em 1.5. And Oregon State has been playing better, but they just can't seem to get a daggone win. I'm not a big fan of Appy State. I don't think they're that great of a team, but Oregon State's having to travel across the country. And I absolutely think Oregon State could easily win this game, but I'm going to take a flyer here and say Appy State covers the 1.5. I mean, at this point, it's a money line bet, so pick whoever the heck you think's going to win the damn game. I'm going to pick Appy State, but absolutely no surprise whatsoever if Oregon State goes across country and is able to pick up their first win of the season.
Yeah, and it's a tight line. I think it's, like you said, just about a pick 'em game.
Yeah.
And this is one of those opportunities, even though they're going all the way across the country, for Oregon to get a win this year. These kind of games, they need to win. So for our Bees fans, I hope they pick up that win all the way over on the East Coast.
Yep, agree, Michael. I am not touching this game either. Just committed to picking these teams, as Steve is, and so that's why we pick them all. But I will absolutely not be putting any of my dollars on that game. And the last one is Miami of Ohio at NIU. NIU, a team really struggling to score. I don't know what the game under is on this, but I'd be interested in looking at the game under. I think it was 40.5. When you get that low, I'm like, okay, that's you can't. To me, I can't bet something that low. But I think it's down around 40, 41, if I remember correctly. The line here, 5.5. Yes, I know Miami. Their starting quarterback got injured against UNLV, but NIU just really struggling to score points. They both have decent defenses here, but I got to take Miami of Ohio, -5.5. I know they're traveling to NIU, but another team here with NIU, I haven't quite figured them out too much yet. Although again, I got it right last week with that 2.5 SDSU pick, but only got it by a half a freaking point. So I'm really concerned about the NIU passing game. Mostly, they just don't have much of a passing game, and I think Miami of Ohio is just overall the better team. So I think they win by a touchdown plus. Again, not going to bet this game. I don't have much interest in betting this game. But I'm committed to picking a future Mountain West team, and that is the Huskies. Although I'm picking against them. So
well, this is another one where we talked about earlier, the opportunity to maybe, if you really like the under, you didn't like the overall game under.
Right.
But if you really feel like NIU is going to struggle to score,
yes,
you could take like the NIU first half under and the NIU total game under.
You could
parlay those together. If you really think they're going to struggle, it's kind of like each one is helping the other, and maybe a good opportunity to make some money, like I was able to do with Sam Houston a few weeks back.
Yeah. If you've got these teams like your CSUs, your NIUs, that are struggling to do some offense, it's not a bad idea. All right, Steve-O, that's our picks. We got 4 locks, 3 from you, 1 for me, and a bunch of other guys in there. And I'm looking forward to the Air Force Navy game, to attend that with you. Last thing, NIU, want to talk about that really quick. Did an episode because the information came out yesterday, 2 days ago. I don't remember. No, it came out yesterday because I recorded last night and then it came out. The video came out today. But so I gave my idea or my opinions on that. I think the biggest thing for me is I'm not sure the headline that is put out there is, I don't want to say it's not accurate, but I think it's an assumption based on historical data. And I've asked some people about this, and they've got back to me, well, McMurphy has the full agreement. He only put two of the pages on. And I'm like, well, typically I've seen these agreements. 3 or 4 of them are boilerplate, legal mumbo jumbo that mean absolutely nothing. The pages that he put, quite frankly, are all the juicy stuff, and none of it was redacted, 0. And he even stated in his article where he was coming up with his numbers, and it was based on the 24 Mountain West financial statements. Well, that doesn't mean that's what the 26 financial statements are going to be. So I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but I think for anyone to use that 36 million, 37 million, as that's what NIU is getting, we don't know that yet.
Right.
I don't think the Mountain West doesn't know that yet. Nobody does. They don't have their financials yet. They haven't announced a media deal yet.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what that's going to be yet. So I just urge caution when people go, holy cow, look how much NIU's getting. I will say, and I think I said, I was surprised at the 85% media value. Like, for a football-only member, that's healthy. Like, that's great for NIU. But to me, that shows the value of the media partners that wanted that area. Both the Central Time Zone, the Chicagoland market, and people go, I don't get it. They don't own Chicago. Well, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the execs think that's paying the bill for the Mountain West. That's what matters. So anyway, I wanted to bring this up to get your thoughts on that, Steve.
Yeah, like you said, I think it mostly just, you don't know, it's too hard to know the numbers because there's so many moving pieces with the media deal, the lawsuits, frankly, that are going on.
Yeah.
How long do they go on? What are the legal expenses going to be like?
Yep.
All kinds of reasons. But the media valuation there, I think, is the biggest part of the story, like you said, for the same reasons. And we talked about this a lot when both the Mountain West and the Pac were looking for new members.
Yeah.
We talked about the first time it was brought up was when we talked to Bob Thompson, I think, former Fox executive, was getting into the Central Time Zone, getting more TV windows, basically. And then if for a G6 conference to get a team in the Central Time Zone, there's certain choices, and getting a team in that Chicagoland market area is fantastic. And it doesn't mean they own Chicago. Like,
no, right.
It just means they're going to be on in TVs in that area, which is a valuable media market. So it's going to get the Mountain West on TV in that area. I'm basically with you on everything, and it kind of validates what we were thinking for a long time about getting into the Central Time Zone and getting into the Chicagoland area.
Well, and it's giving them 4, not just 4 time zones, but kind of slots in your college football Saturday schedules,
Absolutely.
right? Maybe not a noon game, but a 12:30. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be 11 a.m. game for NIU, but it may be. They may
You could
do it.
do a noon, yeah,
they
absolutely.
may do that in
Yes.
an 11 a.m. kickoff, which is a noon Eastern game. And it opens up so many options for the Mountain West.
Yep.
Having that central time zone, they can get a a noon game. They can have a noon Mountain time zone game, which is a 2 or make it a 1 game. You have that 3 o'clock slot on the East. Then you can get that 6 o'clock slot. Then you can get a 9 o'clock slot. Then you can get your midnight. I mean, honestly, they have 5 slots that they could potentially have. Yep. That inventory is so important for them that people just don't get that. All they do is see NIU and say, oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It makes a ton of sense for a lot of different reasons. And again, I'm not an executive. There's probably more reasons than you and I are talking about right now. But it was done for the media contract, and they're getting paid because of what they're bringing to the Mountain West. That's the fact of the matter. I've seen people think, oh, they're getting overpaid. Well, good for NIU. And quite frankly, we don't know if they're getting overpaid. I mean, if the Mountain West is getting whatever 25% more out of their media deal because of having a central time zone school, then they should be paid more. It's because they're part of it. And again, this is all assumptions. I don't know this is the case, but you got to kind of look at it big picture, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I will add one more thing. There's always this question of how much percentage is of the value is football versus basketball.
Right.
The Olympic sports are generally just thrown in, but football versus basketball. If I remember correctly, basketball they're going to play in the Horizon League.
Yep.
Okay. I think this shows us pretty clearly with the way college basketball is set up. The money in college basketball is to make it to the tournament and get wins.
Yes.
And the Mountain West has done pretty good at getting teams in the tournament the last few years. But there's not as much value in the initial TV contract. This shows us, that maybe basketball is like 15% of the value.
Yep.
Football is, around 85% of the value. And I think it makes sense.
Well, and Gloria Navarra said that at the Mountain West Media Days for basketball last year, before NIU was added. I remember specifically she was talking to Jeff Grammer, and he asked the question, hey, what about is the split? And I think he used like 75. He's like, is it 75 or is it more like 80, 85? And she's like, oh, more of the second.
Yeah.
So she even was saying it's more like 80, 85%. Well, they're getting 85%. That's what their value.
Yep.
That's the value of TV. I mean, this is giving us all those answers,
Yes.
and it's what she told us a year ago.
Yep.
So, when you're able to hear them speak so often, then after the fact, you're like, yeah, she literally said that like 4 months before this happened, right? Like, so we didn't know she was giving us the answer, but she gave you the answer. So anyway, hey, I do want to give a quick shout out. They're talking about NIU wrestling. That did come up today. They're actually headed to the PAC in wrestling. That was announced today. So good on NIU.
Yeah.
Good on the PAC for adding another wrestling school. When we had talked to A.D. Frazier, he had said that he was hoping by the end of the month he would have wrestling and gymnastics announced. He said it was done. It just they had to get that announced. Well, today they announced wrestling to the PAC. So that's cool stuff. And an interesting situation. They have one sport in the PAC and one sport in the Mountain West, potentially, in lawsuits between the two conferences that they're part of.
Yeah.
So, hey, with that, I think I'm done, Steve. Anything you wanted to bring up?
No, just again, looking forward to being in Annapolis this weekend to see Air Force take on Navy.
That's right. And tomorrow we have our G6 rankings, and we'll also have our motion to dismiss discussion. So you can check that out tomorrow on our channel. I'll get those both posted here on Thursday. And if you're able, as Steve said, Air Force versus Navy, join us for some live content. We'd love to have you join us with that there on Saturday. So with that, hey, we thank you guys for watching. Smash that like button on the way out, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.